You know, I remember back in elementary school, I was a dumbass. I was a dumbass because I was in an environment that was very needy of materialistic things in order to make yourself seem cool to other people around you. A lot of adults do this as well, but when everyone was younger, the act of wanting something just because everyone else had it was a lot more prevalent, as kids are usually more prone to trying to follow the crowd. Some kids wore certain expensive t-shirts, some kids wanted the newest LeBrons, the newest Jordans, or the newest KDs that costed a whole leg at the time. Niggas even fucking wanted Crayola Twistables or them damn scented markers, bruh. Kids really liked attention and liked being looked at as the swag nigga. Now, unfortunately, when I was young, even I wanted those things, bruh. Yes, me, nigga. I wanted to do the same thing as other people. But the difference with me was that my parents ain't giving me shit that I wanted, bruh. This is how it would go when I would try to ask my parents for something. Mom, Dad, so, there are these new KD what are you going to ask us? If you are going to ask us to buy these, you got your head up your ass. Why don't you ever ask us if we can buy you books? Why don't you actually ask us for stuff that's important? Why don't you ever ask us if we can buy some duct tape to put on your lips so that you don't speak anymore? So yeah, asking my parents for pretty much anything expensive was a no-go. Like, the only thing I could do to make myself feel famous at school was by having a pack of gum on me so that I could hold out a piece in thin air, with the result of other people being indicated that I have gum so that they could walk over to me and ask me for some. We were all pathetic as fuck back in the day, bruh. But the thing that was the most popular and the most overrated thing that everyone wanted at school were Sillybands, bruh. Yes, these things, nigga. This cheap rubber manufactured accessory. Like, why the fuck was there so much hype over them? I know there were varieties of different shapes and colors, but motherfucker, niggas were treating these things like they were drugs from the black market. Kids were treating these things like it was God. They was on their knees praying and worshiping these atrocities. I would walk in school in the morning and I'd see niggas on my left with them. I would see niggas on my right with them. I'd see them everywhere. Sillybands were a form of oxygen to some of these motherfuckers, I swear. Like, without them, they'd be on the ground about to have cardiac arrest. Niggas would have a full sleeve, a full neck, or a full leg of them. At that point, you don't even gotta wear clothes no more. Fuck wearing clothes, just wear Sillybands all over yourself. On God, niggas were pledging their allegiance to Sillybands. and the worst part is, I fell in the trap. I wanted to look like them too, bruh. I wanted to be popular too. I wanted to be known. So I asked my parents to buy me some, and they said yes, surprisingly. But then they would take so long to buy me the joint, and I had to wait weeks and weeks just to have them. And within those weeks, I began to get sadder and sadder, to the point where I had depression. I was crying every day. I neglected doing my homework every day. I was eating like a madman every day. Oh, you nasty ass bat! I broke my leg every day. It was terrible. I thought there was no point of living if I didn't have my $5 Sillybands to show off to everyone. I wanted to kill myself. But after 2 weeks, 4 hours, and 51.5 minutes later, my dad came to my room as I was having a sped attack. Cause a nigga was really going through it, and presented me with, you won't believe it, he presented me with the Sillybands. Yes, they actually bought them for me. And when I wore one, I felt like it was a match made in heaven. My soul got reincarnated from the dead. I got a damn boner from wearing this shit. But then after about 10 minutes of wearing it, I was like, damn, This shit cost $5, my nigga. It's not that serious. And after I got it and wore it and found out how overrated it was at home, I took it to school. I was doing my thing with them, you know, showing it off in any way I could. I'd take off my Sillybands and drop them on purpose just so that people could see that I got Sillybands. I'd raise my hand repeatedly during a lesson when I didn't even have a question, because my sole purpose was just to let people see my Sillybands on my wrist. I tried to pull girls with them. Like I just did everything that every other person did with Sillybands. But in my heart, I was just like, yo, this shit kind of ass. Sillybands were pretty ass, but not necessarily because of the product itself, but because of how much traction it was getting from people. I blame myself. I blame my classmates for giving these things so much power, so much authority, so much prestige. It wasn't worth it, bruh. And I guess that just goes to show that in life, you just gotta be humble and don't be a sheep. Stop stressing over wanting materialistic things just cause everybody else has them. Live your life based off the quality of life and not the things of life. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna head out and buy me this limited edition Harambe shaped hot Cheeto on eBay. I saw a lot of people with this at work today, so I was like, fuck it. Why not? Break a leg, nigga.
Real trap shit.